All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode for Real Estate Wholesaling Analysis. This is a live meetup happening right now. This is, I believe, episode 35, our 35th time coming in together for these live meetups, where we do some analysis in terms of like real estate wholesaling, a breakdown, a few structures on what makes a deal work as well too, and we do some live examples of some analysis. Either the properties are on market, or if anybody has like a property or address that they want to share, we can definitely analyze that off market if it happens to be an off market deal. My name is Elton, like Elton John. I've been hosting these series, and I will be hosting these series from now until I don't know, until I decide until when. But welcome. If you happen to be new here, these series go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. For the month of April, there will be a change on the schedule. So if you follow on meetup.com, then all the updates will be up there. And then once we go on YouTube, then you'll be able to get the new updated times for the month of April. The reason why is because these months are very popular in terms of like real estate. So there's could be a lot of deals happening. So I want to be part of that action back again. A lot of changes in rates, a lot of the activities are getting a lot higher and better, and a lot of deals are just going to be going off really quickly. I mean, there's still some deals out there available that you're able to find like on market as well too. So it's really all about searching because we all have access to the same information. But regardless about that, let's just get started into the series. First things first, just a little expectations how the series works is I go through a little quick presentation. It usually takes about 10-15 minutes, break down how to analyze like a deal as well too. And then, of course, afterwards, we dive into some real live analysis. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, you're able to ask them throughout the presentation, by all means. So, but we do have like a section or time that we set up for any Q&A if you happen to have like any questions whatsoever. Then afterwards, if you guys want to network, there's going to be a breakout room to set up. So that way, if you want to network with other investors, wholesalers, contractors, whoever happens to be joining that wants to network with one another, then that's going to be open as well too. But with that being said, let's just jump into the presentation. So first things first about real estate wholesaling and what this series is mainly about. It's real estate wholesaling has a series of steps of getting a property under contract and assigning that contract to an end buyer. Throughout the process, you also want to make sure that you're analyzing like the deals. I kind of do a little bit of reverse wholesaling where I first look for a market and then find like the buyers. So that way when I'm analyzing these deals, and that's what this whole series is about, is analyzing, basically going over how the offer should be coming in about, getting an understanding or like repairs and all that stuff, which I'll walk you guys through in a bit. It's the process that I kind of emphasize a lot in, and so that way you're able to find deals out there that really make sense instead of just scrambling for anything random and then hope for a deal. So you just have to again strategize from there. But to I'll go in the steps of like analyzing a deal. When we analyze a deal, we have to understand a few factors. The very first factor we have to understand when looking into a deal is look at the markets and seeing what the ARV, what the after repair value of properties are going for in the area. This goes very well into properties that are on market and then properties that are pending or are under contract at the moment. Those two factors help you identify what's actually happening. I will show you a little hack on how to find the ARV literally in seconds, because we are going to go through a random market that I've never been or done in the past as well too. So we'll walk through that unless I've done like an example of it on these live series, because I've done about this is 35th, so we've done 35 different cities throughout, but there's a bunch of cities in all the states, and then each single city, a county, or whatever it is that we look into is going to be very different from one another. But I'm going to walk you through the entire process of looking into that as well too. But first things first is again understanding what the after repair value of a property is, because that helps you determine how much potential a deal might have for yourself and also for your end buyer as well too. Now looking into the ARV. Of course, investors are going to be calculating things very differently. So some of them are going to be very aggressive. The ones that are very aggressive always like to buy cheap, and the ones that are more conservative, or they've been in the game for way too long that they know how to they have like their own specific formulas. It is essentially a fundamental thing for you to understand how buyers buy, because some buyers, like I said, some of them are going to buy very low, and then some are going to be buying very high. And that's the difference between the a wholesale fee that you're capable of getting. So it is essentially very helpful to understand how buyers buy, so that way you can look for opportunities, and then that way you're not bringing low offers into like the game as well too, or way too low where they're just getting getting automatically rejected. Sometimes it could be a strategy as well too, where you want it to get rejected because maybe you don't like it, but somehow, some way, the seller's motivation is really high, that they just don't really care, and they just rather get the access to the cash as quickly as possible. So again, the game of real estate, it's really unexpected. So it's a plus or minus game that you really have to understand. But as long as you're getting yourself into the game rather than just studying and learning and putting yourself into action, you're gonna get an insight of how that game actually is. Because again, not every deal is going to be very the same, and not every wholesale fee is always going to be very low. Sometimes you can get unexpectedly high as well too, just because again, buyers buy very differently from one another, because they all have a different level of experience and a different understanding on how they calculate a lot of their deals. Um, so with that being in mind, the next thing that we have to understand, which it says it on the word, is after repair value. And the word after repair value says it as well too, is we have to understand repairs as well too. I don't dive too much in depth when looking at into repairs. When looking at repairs, again, it's real estate, so it's a plus or minus game where investor one, two, and three. Investor one, if I'm analyzing a deal, the property needs $40,000. Investor one says that the property needs $70,000. Investor two says that it can be done for $50,000. And investor three is going to say that, oh, you can actually get away with like 25, maybe $30,000 worth of repairs. At the end of the day, it's really up to them on what kind of repairs they do. Sometimes some of them are partnered with contractors, so the contractors' expenses are very low. So it's the game of the plus or minus that you're dealing with. So don't spend too much time on it, but do stick to like a reasonable amount of a dollar expense on those repairs where it actually makes sense. Sometimes you can even just ask questions to the seller or to the agent to get like an estimate or get their perspective on seeing what it will need. If they happen, you can simply ask, like if you're working directly with sellers, simply ask the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, if you have like $60,000 like in cash available to repair this home, what would you spend the money on repairing this home for? What would you spend those $60 towards? And they start telling you, oh, I will do this, I will do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, F, and bam, that's what the property needs in terms of like updates and repairs. Again, it's just getting a perspective from their side. Looking into the repair costs, light repairs are going to be very minimal. These are going to be more on rental properties or properties that are really like well maintained and the condition is really good. They just need like something more unique and modernize a little bit. So this will be very light repairs that again are more implied into like rental properties or really great shape condition properties as well too. Next, we're looking to average repairs. Average repairs is going to be a little bit more on those project type of properties. So if you're looking for distressed properties or some properties that just need some type of work, or you come across some of them on market as well too, these are going to be the project ones where the price is going to be $25 to $40 per square foot on those repairs. And again, you start getting into like projects like the kitchen, flooring, paints, windows, doors, utilities, bathrooms, adding an extra bedroom, if anything, maybe the roof as well too. So again, it's turning into like a project home that you can that's a fix and flip as a fix and flip investor, that we usually sell it between 2 to 4 months, get it out as quickly as possible. Again, depending on the work that they want to do and the materials that they want to use, and how consistent they're able to, how quickly their workers are, or their contractors are able to like work into getting like the job done, as well too. So it's going to be more a relationship, and also having like a team set up, if they don't happen to have like a team. But that's going to be the average repairs between $25 to $40 per square foot. Is going to be more on those project type of properties. Next is going to be the full nightmare properties. These are going to be like the gut job ones, where it just needs the entire 100 yards of work, or sometimes you can demolish the entire home. Demolishing comes into like some, depending on like the size of like the land as well too, seeing if you can convert it into like something bigger. So it really depends on what kind of gut job you're looking into, but these gut jobs are basically the full nightmare to $1 million flip. I'm just throwing an example. It's not going to be like that in every single property, but it's just you're turning that type of property into something amazing, because again, you're pretty much stripping down everything. The only thing that's going to be available or on the land is going to be the foundation, unless the foundation needs like major repairs as well too. So again, it really depends, but these gut job repairs, they have pretty much either a fire, or everything has to be stripped down to like the studs, or a complete demolish into like the property. And the cost for these are going to be 45 to like $60 per square foot on these type of repairs. So just be aware. And if you happen to come across properties that are burnt, these are gonna, or there's been a fire in those properties as well too. They're going to be usually like in the low ranges of like 50, maybe $100,000, depending on like on the city that you're looking into. But they're going to be less than that as well too. And it's literally all about getting permits. So it really depends on what kind of fire you're looking into. So mold, and there's a bunch of other factors that you're looking into, but these gut job repairs, it just, again, is going to require heavy stuff. And again, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much you specifically it is that you want to get, but these average, or all these repair costs, you just want to multiply them by the price per square foot on the property. And again, it really comes down to like the work the end buyer really wants to do. If they want to go on the luxury side, or if they want to go in the Chinese material side, to get the work done. So it really depends what's actually what the end buyer really wants to do. So don't spend too much time on repairs. I'm telling you that right now. That's what a lot of people spend a lot of time into. So don't spend a lot of time on those repairs. Next is when we're looking into some properties, part of the process of finding the ARV, which besides the little hack I'm gonna show you guys, is we want to make sure that you're looking for similar properties as well too. So you want to compare apples to apples. When we're looking at these properties, you want to make sure that you're sticking within certain parameters, or aka some certain key factors that an appraiser will look into to make sure that they're looking at, they're comparing apples to apples. Once the property is getting fixed up, once the property is fixed up, and they're trying to evaluate what the new value is based on the new work that it got done to it. If everything happens to be flawless, there's permits that got pulled as well too, whatever the case may be. The appraiser is going to be looking for similar properties to that subject property as well too, but they're going to be looking for within the same neighborhood. So these are going to be the parameters that we're going to dive into. First things first is the living space. So when you're looking for comps or comparables, you are going to be looking for properties that are within a plus or minus 300 square foot from the living space. Next, the lot size of 2,500. This will vary if you're starting to compare some properties with acres in the properties. So if it's a quarter of an acre, half an acre, a 2, 5, 10, or however many acres it is, you want to start comparing the lot size. But if it's just like the property with like a backyard or maybe a pool, as well too, that's something else that you want to consider as well too. If it has like the extra pool, you want to make sure that you're comparing comps to pools. If there's no pools, then you have to like deduct some of it as well too, because those extra touches or those extra things bring more value into like a property. So just make sure that when you're comparing the square footage, stick to the square footage. So now if you're looking for like land wise, then you have to compare land. When you're looking for comps in the area, you want to make sure that you stick within a certain radius as well, too, half a mile to 1 mile radius. You can go a little bit more extensive, but the more extensive you start getting out from like the neighborhood and the area, you have to start adjusting some prices on what the ARV might be. There's no specific price. It just depends on how long ago did it sell, how much did it actually sell for as well too. So it's just you are able to go beyond the radius, but again, now you have to cut some deductions from it whatsoever. Now, looking into like the neighborhoods, the way you're gonna notice the areas as well too is looking at double yellow line roads. And what these double yellow line roads are gonna be heavy traffic roads that basically split up the neighborhoods. So one side is gonna be one neighborhood, the other side is gonna be a whole different neighborhood. So when you're looking for properties in the same neighborhood, you are gonna come across freeways, highways, main traffic roads that have like bus lines, delivery trucks, semi trucks, construction trucks. There's just going to be a constant flow of traffic in those roads. That again, that's basically letting you know like, hey, this is the end of this neighborhood. Your neighborhood is within this quadrant or this section over here. Anything in the other side is going to be a whole different neighborhood, and so on forth. So the those traffic roads are again is going to be the borderline for like the neighborhood as well too. Looking into the comparing apples to apples, you want to make sure that you're comparing the same years as well too. Don't compare a 2024 brand new construction home to a 1960s homes, because the permits, the materials, everything is very different from one another. So again, you want to compare apples to apples. So look within the same years on the properties. And when you're looking for comps, you want to find at least 3 to 5 comps. You want to look at the recently sold as well too in the last 6 to 9 months. And when you're looking for comps besides sold, again, you want to look for properties that are on market and properties that are pending or that are on their contract at the moment. Because properties that sold, they let you know what the history is on the neighborhood. Properties that are pending or contract, it's letting you know what the current market is actually at. And then the properties that are still available or they're for sale, that's the future market or what's going to be happening in the future, because the property hasn't really sold, so it's still available. And maybe who knows, it might take a little bit longer for it to sell because the market is not really looking into or that market is not looking into that type of property at the moment. But it just depends on or where those are. But those are 3 different time frames. Do you want to look for comps? You want to look at the past, which is sold in the last 6 to 9 months. You want to look at the present time frame, which is going to be pending or in the contract at the moment. And you want to look at the future. Basically, the properties that are on the market right now is basically the future and where real estate is heading as well too. So with all those factors, that's how you're going to be able to find like your ARV. Looking for your find your comps. So you're gonna find your comps. You're gonna be able to find your ARV, and then of course, part of the process of analyzing is look at repairs. Just don't spend a lot of time. Again, go back to it of the numbers, and then just analyze how much it needs. Because again, at the end of the day, it's really up to your end buyer on what it is that they want to do. If they want to fix it, if they want to just demolish it and leave it as a vacant land, or if they want to rent it out, it's really up to them at the end of the day. So again, real estate is going to be a plus and minus game. Now we're going to be just going through a complete breakdown on what makes like a deal work. Give you guys like a perspective of how investors think. Again, this is not going to be applied to all investors. It's just going to be a common strategy that gets used. So we'll walk through that in a second. And part of the process that I'm going to be using some free platforms to help you guys and guide you on some platforms that I've used in the past to just build my networking, to build my list as well too. And then some tools that I created along the way to help me expedite my process of analyzing deals. So if you want to have access to pretty much everything that I use, just my tools and then my CRM, head over to eltonvargas.com/calculators. You're going to be able to see all of my tools that I created from there. And of course, I'm going to be using some free sources like PropWire, Realtor, Zillow, or Redfin to look for some deals. Unless somebody shares like a deal on here, then by all means, we'll go through that as well too. But with that, let's just jump right into the next phase, which is this right here. So going through an investor strategy, this is going to be a very common strategy that you're going to be seeing from investors. Again, some investors, because at the end of the day, a lot of investors do the numbers very differently. So it is essentially necessary for you to understand how your buyers buy. So that way you're able to look for properties based on how they analyze like a lot of their deals. So let's break down this really quick. This is going to be basically our 70% strategy. And our 70% strategy, basically, it's a very common strategy a lot of investors use when comparing like a lot of their deals. So let's just break down through this really quick. Part of the process, first things first, is you got to be looking for some properties if you got a chance to understand how your buyers buy. But first things first, we got to be looking for a property or looking for a seller that is interested in selling. You come across a property where the seller is going to be interested on selling their property for $764,000. Just random example. That's going to be step number one, finding a property and finding a motivated seller. Now, part of the next process is looking into like the conditioning of the home as well too. So you want to get into again, ask the seller if you happen to be working with sellers directly. Hey, Mr. Seller or Miss Seller, if you happen to be if you had like $60,000 um, available for repairs, what would you spend the $16 to like update like your property? You mind me asking? You don't have to be an expert. You just might tell me like if you had the money, what would you spend the $60,000 into investing and updating like your property for? Just trying to get a perspective. You don't have to tell me nothing, but I just want to get an understanding like what the property's condition is and what it could actually need. Um, if you happen to be wholesaling locally, if you happen to be wholesaling virtually, then it's just getting like a virtual tour from the seller directly, so that we can understand as well too, like what the layout is and what kind of project you're getting into. So you find the property, you're getting in the conversation with the seller, or you got understanding what the property repair needs. Our subject property needs roughly around $80,000 worth of repairs. I'm just putting a random number out there. Now you got to look into like your markets, or if you don't know like your market whatsoever, then again, it's really good for you to know like your markets and what a lot of the properties are going for in the area. But let's say you already know like your market, and in this market, a lot of properties can sell for $875,000. Then this might be a deal that works. But let's just double check out on the numbers really quick. So this is the way an investor will calculate this deal. So first things first, once you have the ARV, um, once you have the ARV, then you're going to be looking into a lot of investors will subtract the repairs. So we subtract the ARV minus the repairs, and that's going to give us this 800 or $795,000 price point, or AKA a new ARV. That new ARV, we multiply by 70%. And what that 70% stands for is basically 20% of it is going to be profit, and then 10% is going to be part of closing costs, as part of like the deal or negotiating process with the seller, to let them know like, hey, Mr. Seller or Miss Seller, we will be paying for your closing costs. We're not agents, so we're not going to be spending, we're not going to be asking for any commissions whatsoever on this deal. So we're pretty much going to be taking everything. So our offer that we're bringing over to you, it's a cash offer that we want to bring over to you, but that's basically the money that you walk away with from there. So our offer, or our highest offer on this deal, or how much the investor will actually pay for it, it will be $556,000. That will be your maximum allowable offer from the investor's perspective. Now, is it going to be a deal for them or not? Again, if it's an off market, cool. If it's an on market, yeah, they might get a little bit more offended about that. But again, it's all about finding like the right buyer that they're really down to like the numbers. So if the numbers make sense, then they'll jump into like the deal. So you let the seller know where your offer will be standing. And then miraculously you happen to be working with them, and you got the property under contract for $550,000. So close to a little bit less than what the highest offer will be. Then they agree upon it because they're really motivated and they need access to the money. And so you got the property in the contract for $550,000. Now, what you're going to be doing is looking for buyers. You might have one that like kind of helped you out, but they might not be interested. So it's all about searching and looking for buyers that are willing to take on this deal. Again, especially being off market, you can definitely get a deal out of it. But you're assigning your property for $570,000, and that's what you're doing. You're not selling the property, you're doing an assignment of contract sale. And what that is basically, hey, where is a buyer? I'm doing this contract of assignment sale. So basically you're taking over this property as an assignment. They don't know what you got the property in the contract for until everybody closes like on the deal. So once it closes, then they will know how much your wholesale fee is. But you're trying to wholesale this a deal for $20,000 more than what you got it on the contract for. But now this is what the investor has to understand. Is this going to be a deal or is it not going to be a deal? Because what they're going to be adding a few things. If you're selling the property for 570, that's included with your wholesale fee. That's how much they're going to be spending first. Of course, you told them that, hey, you have to pay the closing costs for this deal as well too. So if you got the property for $550,000, 5% from the seller, 5% from the buyer, then the buyer is going to be spending both sides, so it's going to be a total of 10%. So 10% of the 550, $55,000 in closing costs and the repairs as well too. So the investor needs a total of money or cash up front of $705,000. So that's going to be their initial investment. Now going um, into the next perspective, let's break it down if this is going to be a deal for them or is it not going to be a deal for them. And that's why it's really good for you to build a relationship with buyers and understand how they buy, because again, it's going to help you understand where your offer should be coming from. So first things first, we know the ARV. So the property can go for more or it can go for less on depending on the ARV. So again, like I was mentioning in earlier, real estate, it's a plus or minus game. So looking into this, the ARV for this again, quote unquote deal or project or opportunity for an investor, it's selling for $875,000. They're going to be paying for the agent fees. They're going to pay the closing costs again. So their total profit is going to be, after those expenses, is going to be $796,000. Out of the $796,000, we have to subtract that initial investment. And the initial investment for our buyer for this one was $705,000. So we subtract those two, the 796 minus the 705, and the actual profit happens to be $91,250. If you guys noticed earlier the potential profit was 20%, and it was roughly $159,000. But again, because we had to pay the buyer had to pay the closing costs, your wholesale fee, and the repairs as well too. Then well, the repairs were kind of included in there, but it was just like your wholesale fee plus the closing costs. That's something else that the investor had to pay for. So that took off some of their margins and their profit. But again, some investors will definitely be satisfied with making $90,000. Some of them are not satisfied with making $60,000, $50,000. So it's really, again, it's all about understanding how much are they looking to make like in a deal, what's like their sweet spot. Of course, the more the merrier it is as well too. But again, like I've been mentioning throughout the entire series, throughout this live is when it comes to selling the home, they can end up selling the property for more than $875,000. It really depends on the agent that they're using as well too. That can really help them out on getting the property to go beyond the asking price, or sometimes depending on the market as well too. Sometimes the property it's just not really selling, and they could be selling it for a little bit less, which is gonna cut into like some of their profit. So again, real estate or we're looking into like a deal. Real estate is going to be a plus or minus game. It's never going to be a guarantee. It's a guarantee once you basically close into like the deal and then figure out how much is going to be going from there. And then get like a response afterwards if you happen to be a fixing and flipping. But that's the reality when you're looking like into a deal. So again, it is essential for you to understand where your buyers, how your buyers buy and what it is, how it is that they calculate a lot of the deals. So that way, whenever you're bringing offers, it really makes sense on those offers as well too. So hopefully that's able to help you guys and get like a perspective on to looking into a deal like that whatsoever. So now let's jump into doing some analysis. Oh, let me pull this here. Bada bing, bada bam. Again, if you guys happen to have like an address, by all means, drop the address of a property you want to get analyzed. So that way we can look into this. And let me put this up. All right, so let's pull this up. Let me share my screen one more time. All right. Shut up, beam, shut up, bomb. Move this out of the way. All right, cool, cool, cool. So let's look for some deals. If you happen to have an address, like I said, drop the address in the chat. If you don't, it's perfectly fine. But let's go through here and let's do the spin the wheel and let's see what city we do end up getting. Uh, oh, what is this? What is this? Why is it doing that? Why did it pop up like that? Let me log back in. I don't know why it did that. But I'm gonna head over to the ARV calculator. And what was our random city? Chattanooga, Tennessee. Let me look for something else. Then Missoula, Montana, Lincoln. Let's do Reno, Nevada. I haven't done Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada. Um, um, and then let me pull up my Google Sheets. Can't spell Google Sheets. Man, that's horrifying. Okay, I don't want to open up like a new one, but thank you, thank you. All right, cool. So here we go. So this is going to be the CRM. Basically, we're going to be going through the steps over here. So step number one, analyze like your markets. Step number two, start looking for buyers, network with contractors, title companies, other wholesalers, agents, whoever it is. Keep on track of pretty much everybody through there. Next, of course, start putting your properties in there, go through like your comps. And then the last step is if you happen to have like a deal under contract, keep a track of all your deals and how much you're getting for that deal from there. But again, first things first, we have to understand the market. So I don't know Reno, Nevada. So I'm going to be pulling this up, Reno, Nevada city, and then I'm going to be looking for some deals from here. And oh, let me pull up Redfin. Then pull this up and let's go to Reno, Nevada as well too. All right, cool. So and this is the little hack. I want you to take very in-depth notes about this. So this is the little hack. Again, I've been to Reno, Nevada, but I don't know the market, what it's like to the market in Reno, Nevada. So what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using some details and some resources that Zillow, and I noticed that Redfin is starting to do this as well too. But Zillow, I like Zillow. It's very accurate is the very first step is we have to understand our markets, how much properties are going for here in Reno, Nevada. Again, I don't know how much to go for, but what I'm going to be looking for is I'm not going to be looking through pictures on what the properties and all this and that. What I'm going to be going for is scrolling all this section down to the bottom section of where it says right here, Reno homes for sale, nearby Reno city homes. Basically, Zillow gives you like the list of all the cities nearby Reno and how much a lot of the properties are going for and selling for in this area. Then, of course, it gives you specific cities inside of Reno. So North Reno, South, East, West, whatever specific cities inside of the city of Reno. You can get more in depth, or if you want to go even further in depth, you can go into like zip codes. But for right now, I'm going to be sticking to like the cities. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be highlighting all of these. I'm gonna go back to my CRM. Here in my CRM, uh, I'm gonna be, let's remove this, let's remove that. Let me delete all of these. And then you can do these for a lot of markets. So I've set it up for you guys to have all these markets available. But what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna be pasting all that information. So I'm gonna head over to edit, paste special, values, and paste. And bam, there it is. Reno, all these prices on the left side is the potential ARV. So that's what the market is telling me in the area. And then the potential offers are right over here, depending on the strategy. So here's going to be your strategy section. Your strategy section is basically what you're looking for in what kind of deal, what kind of opportunity you're looking for, and what kind of project you're looking for as well too, or the rule or the strategy that you're trying to dive into. So if you look for fixing and flip, then it's going to give you fixing and flip formula. If it's buy and hold, then it's going to give you an offer based on the buy and hold formula as well too. So I'm looking for a lot of fixing and flipping. So a lot of the homes in Reno sell for 534,000. So I want to look for properties less than 375. Or I can average it out from like all the ones combined. So now my average on all of them is 270. So I can look between 270 to like 375. That's like my range that I should be looking for like deals. Let me go with like a sweet spot of the middle. Let me go for 350. So let's look for properties that are less than $350,000. And let's see what kind of deals we're able to find. So right here, I have 155 opportunities. Now let me start filtering it down. So I'm gonna filter it down to like houses, and I have just one deal less than $350,000. Um, and wow, that's bad. I mean that's really crazy because a lot of homes, it looks like it was selling for like $500,000. So it looks like there's a lot of good deals over here in Reno, Nevada, and it's perfectly fine. But let's see what's going on with this one. And so far, this does look like a project off the bat because I see like there's a hole or something. Um, so kitchen, not too bad. Floor looks really good. Looks like it was maintained. I don't know why there's like a small section of the popcorn ceiling there that should have to get cleaned up. So this looks like a good rental opportunity just because the property's condition is really good. But I noticed something. What is this? The shed? Where is it a hole for this? So I don't know where this hole is from. It's like a bathroom, or is this like a shed? I don't see like a shed in the backyard. Let's see. Home has to be well maintained, but it needs some TLC. Interior, especially master bedroom, is currently down to also master bedroom down to the studs. Okay, it's generous size, making it not worth the option project. And it's been listed on the market for only 1 day. So that's not really going to be helping out whatsoever. Um, so it's really fresh in terms of it. And that's the only deal that we have that is less than $350,000. Because again, that's where a lot of Reno homes are selling for 534. Again, that's the potential ARV. So let me try to push it to like 375. Let's see if we're able to find something else. But that's a good one just because of that master bedroom. But oh wow, okay. So now we got a few more options. This 369, that's updated, okay, and it's staged as somewhat staged. There's that treadmill there, but then this one, this is active. Okay, flooring looks good. I don't know why they still have that um, all that old wood in the. And what's up with this? Why do they do like half projects? It's like everything's like halfly done over here. Like the windows over here that haven't been like sealed up as well too. So it's like painted flooring and then windows, leave the old windows there. So it looks like a lot of properties over here in Reno are selling for high, but then the work is just halfly finished. And that's not really good. Granite countertops. So this one's great condition. So it looks a lot of these are like good rental opportunities, honestly. Um, how much can I buy for a rental opportunity? So buy and holding 427. All right, cool. So it just depends on what's going on, but honestly, I like this one, the 355, just because it's been sitting for a while, 70 days. There's no notes on it from the agent for whatever reason. And let me check out the property if it has been on the contract, and then they haven't done any price adjustment. There hasn't been like on the contract, and then it's just been sitting in here in Reno for whatever reason. So I definitely have to find out a few more details, but let's use this as an example to like analyze it. So I'm gonna use my ARV calculator. I'm gonna say again, this is gonna be let's make it a quick fix and flip. So the seller's asking 355, but again, it's been on the market for 70 days. So that's, to me, it's like there's something going on with the seller or something going on with the property itself that is not selling whatsoever. Two is the market on Reno, the properties can resell for 530. Let me check out if that's going to be true or not. But the square footage of the property, what's the square footage? 1500 even. So 1500 even on the square footage. There's no basement in Reno's because there's no tornadoes. And then the repairs, I'm gonna put this more in the light repairs. It just needs light stuff. Floors look good. Kitchen cabinets, just update the appliances like the microwave and the stove. Paint the countertop, the cabinets. I mean, windows, just very minimal stuff. This again, this could be a great rental opportunity, honestly, from my perspective. Um, but very light stuff. So this is an example of a TLC type of work or a light repairs work, which if you guys will go back to earlier, their light repairs are between $10 to $20 per square foot. It is here in California, so California's a little bit more expensive. So I'm gonna put this close to like what is it? I'm at $20 more per square footage on it. And so honestly, I'll say $30 will be good. 45,000. Honestly, I can say it will definitely need less than $45,000 worth of repairs, but I'm gonna leave it at that for right now. And of course, I want to make like a quick fix and flip, and so at least like 15% on this deal. And the property, I need to resell my property $500,000 if I were to buy it at the current asking price. Can I push my profit more? I could if I'm able to get it past 520, but let's check it out. Let me do my homework and let's see what I'm able to get for it. So far, I'm gonna put the ARV to be 530. What was it? 534. But what I gotta do is I have to confirm. I literally have to confirm this this opportunity. So I gotta look for my comps, past, present, and future, seeing what's actually happening in this area. So let me look back to seeing where this property is at really quick. So this is this one right over here. All right, cool. So let me look at this. You guys can see a major road over here, highway, freeway. So then now let me take away, let me reset all the filters. All right, let's reset. I'm looking for a single family home. Um, I'm looking between, it's the square footage is 1500, so plus or minus 300. So 1250, that's fine. All the way up to like 1750, I guess. Um, and then let me see what's under contract right now. If there's anything under contract. Nothing under contract. Nothing under contract? Nope, nothing under contract right now. So I got to look at what's actually sold. And there's only one property in this area as well too. So again, what I'm confirming is going back to Zillow, I'm trying to confirm this right over here, basically. How much can my property sell for? Can it sell for that 534 or is it going to be less than 534? So that's all I'm really confirming. And based on the area, let's look for properties that have sold in the last 6 months. So 6 months, bam. So I have one property that sold in November. Um, this was in a lesser conditioning, has great floors, cabinets, they still kept them. Windows is still a little bit old, carpet, bathroom not updated. So our property is more updated than this, and this sold for 449. So not looking good so far, because what's that? 449. How much did that sell on the price per square foot? 449 divided by 1330. So that sold at 337 per square foot. So let me put that off the bat, 337. Let's go back to look for more comps. See, we have this one across the way. This sold in December. Let's see what kind of conditioning we have over here. Just let it load up. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like we have some technical difficulties really quick. So I'm seeing a lot of 470s, 449, 460. So I'm seeing just these right here, fours. I'm not getting anything close to like five. I see 535 over here. It's a four bedroom, three bath. Our subject property, what was it? Here, let me open this in a new tab. Let me duplicate this tab. Let me go back to this and sold. So our subject property is a three bedroom, one bath. So if you guys can see, the 530s are four bedrooms, three bath, four bedroom, three baths. These 449s, this is a 4-2, that's a 3-1 right there. Same thing, flooring got done. Walls, windows, doors, cabinets. They still kept like all these older cabinets, but the property sold in December for 423. So 423 divided by 1304, 324. So it looks like our subject property is not going to be able to sell for 324, and I'm gonna say 330. Like right in the middle. So our property can barely sell for like $500,000. But again, that's that, and that was me buying the property and trying to get a quick fix and flip on this deal. So I'm trying to make like 15% on this deal. So for me to make this deal happen as a fix and flip investor, I need to buy the property between 300,000, 305 to $318,000. And that's for me to make a 15% profit, which is going to be like 55,000 dollars, 50 to $60,000 on this quick fix and flip deal. But again, I need to get it under contract for 305. Right now, the property it's at 355, which is it's not bad whatsoever. It's not a bad price point. But I can definitely push it for two reasons. One, it's been sitting on the market for 70 days. Two, it hasn't been under contract whatsoever. It does need like little updates here and there, nothing too crazy. It's very light stuff as well too. But that's what the market is telling me as well too. So this property is priced perfectly, honestly, like spot on. But I can definitely push it for a little bit less. Because again, and as aggressive investor, that'll be somebody pushing into like 300. So how much will my offer be if I were to wholesale it? So this is my offer will be as a fix and flip investor, 248. So honestly, that's where I will start off, and again just try to work my way up to like the 300s, um or even to like 280, so that way I can make like a $15,000 wholesale out of it. 280 will be like my highest, so that way I can sell it to like an investor between 305 to like 318. Yeah, because again, this property it is an on market property, but it's literally priced spot on to like the ARV on this area whatsoever. So I mean that should be really that should be able to help you guys out from there whatsoever. So honestly, just that's a great deal. It's spot on, but because it's on market, it's probably gonna be very hard to like get it under contract for 280. So as well too, unless the seller's like really motivated on selling. And of course, I want to find out too, does the seller have like a loan? So maybe I can do like I can probably do a creative finance deal. So let me check it out if there's like any loans on this property. So it's 100%, it's free and clear. There's no mortgages, there's no debt on it. Um, Again, it's been on the market for like 70 days. So this is a great it's a great opportunity. So it's really coming down to like the seller, how motivated is the seller interested on selling this property as well too. And sometimes I like to check out if the owner happens to be looking into some other happens to have like any other deals as well too. But the property is free and clear, and again, it's priced right at the spot on. It's just my offer needs to be really close to like 305 to like less than 305. I would say 280, 285, get like a $15,000 wholesale, 15,000 wholesale fee out of it. So a fix and flip investor can do something very light. $45,000 worth of repairs for this property is definitely a little bit too much. All they have to do is just down this wall, take down this the wood from the fire, and additionally to do some walls, do some windows, do some touches on the cabinets, and bam, that's gonna be a deal right there, honestly. But hey, if that works. That definitely will definitely work very well. It's just the comps are not selling over $500,000 for sure. So it's just literally priced on the spot. But that's pretty much our analyzing really quick. So if you guys happen to have like any questions, I'll leave it open for some questions really quick. If you happen to have like any questions, if there's no questions, then we'll do like the breakouts. But you guys should be allowed to unmute yourselves if you happen to have like any questions whatsoever. No questions? Oh, okay. Well, then that's looks like that's pretty much our wrap for today. If you guys happen to have any other questions, just message me on meetup.com on the real estate wholesaling analysis group. So that way you guys are, if you have any other questions, just let me know through there, or you can head over to my website, eltonvargas.com for any one-on-one sessions, or if you want to have access to the calculator and the real estate CRM, you can have access to it through there as well too. The CRM you can buy individually if you want, just have access to it. It's right over here for like 17 bucks if you want to get it, or if you want to have access to the calculators and the CRM, then you can definitely do this as well too. But if there's no other questions, then that's pretty much our wrap for today. I really appreciate you guys joining.